All right, well, we got three of you on. It's 6:05. I guess we might as well get going here. Please feel free to unmute yourselves if you want, ask questions, or there's a little button right in the middle that says chat. You can leave questions right in there as you go. I will take the liberty of starting this off here. The first thing I want to show you guys is exactly what your students' Edgenuity page actually looks like when they log on. So I'm going to share the screen here. As soon as I get my, here we go. So when your student logs on to Edgenuity, they should see a screen that looks like this. Right, you can see here, it's already telling me I'm behind, where it gives them a little progress bar of where they should be in the course. And then there's one button, you can just click next activity. Not to speak for all of the teachers, but I've been telling the students, don't just click this next activity button. Actually click here, I'll use my US history one as the example. Actually click the title of the course that they're in here. So if you click on that, it'll take to a screen like this. And this is the screen that is going to give you a lot more of the tools that are nice to use here for it. There's all sorts of different things you guys can play around with over here. And this here, if I wanted to jump straight to a different lesson, it'll take me to the different ones that we have. But let me go back to my very first one here. So the main important ones that your students should be able to pay attention to is here on the left-hand side. It will tell you what day they should be doing what, right? So here we're already on the 13th. That means I should have already completed onto this one right here from my US history class. I should be now on this lesson right here, Neutrality and War in Europe, okay? Another thing that's really nice about this course map look is here on the right-hand time, it gives you a rough estimate, and they're usually pretty close, a rough estimate of how long it should take you to actually accomplish the lesson here. So, right, this one here, there's only two different parts to it. And if you notice, it says it should only take about 35 minutes or so to finish the lesson. So if you're sitting there, let's say I'm a student, I'm like, hey, I have a little free time. I only have about 50 minutes. I wonder if I can get some work done. You can look over here and look, I can get this whole lesson. I have 30, it says it should only take about 35 minutes. I have 50 free minutes right now. I think I can do it. So that's another nice thing here. If you're actually trying to plot out, like, let's say your student is working or has other obligations, helping out with some maybe a younger brother or sister or something like that, they can kind of help them plot out their time a little bit better if they look over here. Two more things I'm going to show you across each bar here. So each one of these is a lesson. So when you hear your teachers talk about two different things, there are units which hold many lessons within them, and then there are lessons, right? So for instance, in my first unit, the US history went over, was progressivism and reform, and there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different lessons within the unit. So that varies class to class, unit to unit, but the lessons are the smaller chunks within the units. Lessons usually you can finish in one sitting. Units you usually finish more in like a week or a week and a half. So let me click on my first lesson here to show you some different things here. I click this little plus here in the corner. First thing here that's nice is it gives me 4 objectives right off the get-go. And these are good ones. Maybe you want to write them down or take a picture of them before you get going. At the end of each lesson, so for instance, for my early progressivism lesson here, I should know or be able to do these 1, 2, 3, 4 different things here, right? If I finish the lesson, I come back to the objectives and I'm like, well, I don't know. Like, let's say maybe I don't know how to describe the achievements of the progressive movement. You might want to go back through it. The best possible tool, and I would recommend, and I have been recommending to all of my students, is take advantage of this one over here, the guided notes. So let me show you one more time. I want to get to the guided notes. Click here. Oh, those are the objectives, that's good. Then I'm gonna click on this one over here. It says view guided notes. It'll take you to a screen that looks like this. What I have been recommending to students is to print these off, even though it's a lot of paper when it's all said and done. But at least for my lessons, for instance, if you were going through the videos and the different little articles they have on the content, there would be a page or a part in the video that would literally look like this, and you can kind of fill in the blanks as you go. So the biggest and most effective tool I have to help your students out is these actual guided notes. And for my students who have been hopping on the meets with me, I've been telling them, hey, if you want, you can try to recreate this in your journal. I would, if you have access to a printer, I would recommend printing them off, right? I usually go 2 sheets per page to try to save some paper, but I would recommend actually printing them off if possible. If that is not possible, you just don't have access to a printer, and you think it would really benefit your student to have a paper copy of it. Just let your teachers know, and we can work out some sort of solution there. So this is what your students' Edgenuity course map looks like. And I got to that by, let's see here, your students should have access to something called the Launchpad. It looks like this. Click on the one here. Make sure you click Edgenuity Student. And I'm there. Continue. That's the thing I have. There we go. And I'm there. All right, now we got some more people on it. So that was what your Edgenuity home screen looks like. Sorry to kind of dominate the conversation here. I'll let any of our other teachers talk if they feel like it, or answer any questions people feel like they might have right now.
So I can, again, I'd like to reiterate what Mr. Anderson said. If any questions pop up, feel free to cut me off and ask, but I'll kind of say a couple of things about my role. I'm Mr. Cree, I teach English, and I have an AG, sophomore AG. I see a couple of my students here, the parents of my students here. You know, Mr. Anderson commented on a lot of good tips, and the one I would add is one thing about being a Fox Online student that a lot of students have figured out, but I think that it would do well for some to continue to understand, is that I think the best thing a student can do if they're having a hard time or feeling maybe like they don't have the support, or they just need to touch base, is just simply email their teacher for a one-on-one meeting. The 4 of us are in pretty, I would say, day-to-day communication, just about where we're at, what are we seeing, what do students need from us, and which is great because we're all pretty, comfortable with our communication. But the best thing that I've experienced over the last probably, I guess, 2-3 weeks is just when I get to have a meeting, a one-on-one virtual meeting with a student, and we can go back and we can look at what quizzes they're struggling with, and I can say, okay, well, here's where, this is the answer you got wrong. Let's see why you got it wrong, and really just dissect those. Because one thing a lot of students have expressed to me is, if they fail a quiz in Edgenuity, they don't know why. So one nice thing about those one-on-one meetings is that we're able to go back and take our time to look through those, so that they can really be a learning experience. Just knowing that you have that support system. I know I vouch for all 4 of us when I say that we're all really eager and willing to meet with students. And then the other thing I would throw out there is that we all do have optional meetings of some kind throughout the week. So we all might have a little bit of a varied schedule from each other. They're not lockstep, but like myself, for example, I have optional meetings for my specific class and my AGs on my English courses. I have optional meetings on Monday and Thursday. And then my AG meetings are on Monday and Wednesday. So I think sometimes students maybe have missed that message, or don't know when the best time is to contact their teachers. And I guess a simple response would be there's almost no wrong time as long as communication is happening. Just to set up a meeting, one-on-one is great, or go to those optional meetings. They're just a good opportunity. And I don't know about the other 3, but we like it when students show up to those, because it's like, hey, I get to do my job and teach and help. So that's just a message I would love to throw out there to parents and guardians of our students.
Um, I'll just introduce myself, and then again, guys, chime in with questions as they come up, but at least this way you guys are getting a face to our name that you've been seeing, on Canvas and Edgenuity. I'm Miss Newton. I will be teaching all the health and science classes for Fox Online. And I really did want to just reiterate what Josh said. Love meeting with kids. I did have a one-on-one with a kid today for about 15, 20 minutes at the end of the day. And it was super nice just to have a conversation with one of my students. I really missed that about this format school is in right now. So another thing you can do that I can help you with, if that's not a possibility for you, is some of my students, if they've really struggled with a certain topic, I can make a quick screencast and go over the topic in that way and send it to you. And then you can play that when you have a chance. So that's just another option. If the one-on-one meet isn't going to work for you, you can also let me know about that and I can create that for you. Just in also adding a little bit of interest and texture to our program, one of the things I'm working on right now is having some extension opportunities in our science classes. Our first one's going to be next Thursday. I'll be in communication with my biology students about it, but I'm going to be having a Google Meet with different professionals who work in the science field. So students get a chance to talk to some people who get to do science for a living. So the first one I'm super excited is going to be my brother, who's a forester in Southern Oregon. I definitely am going to owe him a little thank you gift for coming to my class, but I'll be in communication with students about that. I've got some other people lined up. I've got a wildlife biologist and then a few other people. So if your student is wanting to see what can happen in the sciences post high school, that'll be an excellent opportunity for them.
I'm Mr. Mack. I teach the math for Fox Online. I see some of you, I've communicated with you, and I'm glad that you guys are here. And so the biggest outcry that I've had from my students is just that the videos they don't quite meet the expectations that the students have because they don't go further into detail than they'd like. So what I'm trying to do, and kind of what Jessica said, was we're basically trying to supplement where we can. And so the best thing is just to email us, let us know that there's a need, because we can get working right away on whatever you need. We just have to know it's there. And it's even more difficult when we're all just kind of sitting behind our computer screens. We're not really able to kind of gauge where students are other than what we see on a screen. So it really helps to kind of put that personable feel back into it and reach out if you do need help, because we're more than willing to assist you. And so I really am about getting back to students. I think one of the frustrating things about Edgenuity is that it's very progressive based. So if a student fails 2 attempts on their quiz, they're stuck at that point. So it may not be checked by myself until the next day. So if a student emails me and tells me that, hey, I'm stuck on this, I need another reattempt, that allows me to know that they need to move on. And I can also make them a video if they need to supplement what they don't know. And it'd be tailored specifically to them using the assignment and the quiz. It's a little bit, I think, more cut and dry with math, because I can kind of see where the large units are being missed. But it's just really about communicating the needs, and we're more than willing to help out in any way that we can. And we understand that this is very frustrating at times, and we get it. So please just reach out and we'll try to ease those frustrations the best we can.
Something I might add on to what Mr. Mack was talking about with some of those frustrations is, and why it's important to reach out to us, is we have had several issues that we've been made aware of from students sending, this is happening, that are issues that are, the student nobody did anything wrong. It was maybe like the Edgenuity system or the Canvas system wasn't working. Like, so it was actually beyond their control. Like they're like, I swear I'm doing everything right. And I've had to meet with them and I said, you are doing everything right. We'll look into this. So that's why it's important to be in communication with us. Is a lot of times things have gone wrong for kids, and it's genuinely not their fault in any way, shape, or form. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to do. It's just the system not working. So that's why it's important. When that's the case, if it's the actual system not working, then we for sure need to know as soon as possible to get that corrected for you.
Does anybody have any questions specifically to Edgenuity or Canvas or how to access any of that?
Oh, I see that Michelle raised her hand. Michelle, is there a way we can unmute her? Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I did it. Thank you. I had a question on printing those assignments that Eric Anderson, I think you were talking about the history, that my son brought it to my attention today that we need to get a printer. We don't have a printer. Can he email that somehow to me and I can print it off on a different computer or I have access to, or is that, I don't know how that would work.
Yeah, no, that is very much something that can happen. You can tell Anthony maybe tomorrow morning, first thing, I will show them a place where I always put them where they can access them.
Okay.
If access to a printer is really a difficult thing, which I know it is for a lot of people, like if I didn't have the school, I wouldn't really have access to a printer myself.
Mhm.
Let me know and I can make some things happen. I have several students I'm doing this for where I can potentially get it set up where you would just you know, once a week or once every other week, however often I needed them printed off. I have a couple students, they just go, they talk to the ladies at the front desk. I will have a copy of them waiting for them there. You never even have to actually enter the school yourself. They will bring them out to you. It's all handled very cleanly. So
Okay.
if that is something you are into, just send me an email maybe after this and I'll make sure we get this set up.
Okay. I'll have him contact you tomorrow morning to see for the time being to get them emailed to me, so he can email them to me and then I can print them off where I am at. So
Perfect. Okay.
okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions or questions about campus energy, like Trevor said? I'll take one more opportunity just to kind of something just popped in my head that I actually was going to mention earlier. My baby is joining in. AG, and I want to give a shout out to, I see the Thompson family, Elijah, you're in my AG, and Elijah does a great job of this. AG meetings are really important because that's one of the only ways that Fox Online students can build a community. And that's where that's your point person. So your AG teacher, whoever that is, one of the four of us, really is that person you can email for questions right away. You know, go to the meetings, check in then. And a lot of times the four of us, that's where we're going to go over kind of some housekeeping things of like, you know, hey, this document is not working in Edgenuity, we're on it. Or, hey, you know, next week there's this, there's a message we're going to send out on Parent Square about, you know, the virtual house meeting we're having right now, stuff like that. So, and the other thing about AG is that it is, there's some work in Canvas and there's some work in Edgenuity. So that's something I cleared up with my students last week, is that it's a little different. And it sounds like Jesse might be already doing some awesome extensions that might happen in Canvas. For the time being, all my content is still in Edgenuity, but with AG, it's kind of in two places. So that's been a source of confusion for some of my students. But I think we're figuring that out this week. So.
Josh reminded me of another just point of clarification. So today, and you guys may have felt the overwhelm from all the different ways to communicate and find information. It's a lot, especially if you have multiple different children you're supervising and trying to keep on track. I get it. I've got 3 kids at home and I am with you. It's tough. It's a lot. So I did want to clarify just the best point of contact for myself, and these guys can say if that's different for them. But I today realized another teacher emailed me and a student had come to them because they thought I hadn't responded to them. They had been messaging me in Edgenuity, which I didn't even realize you could message teachers in Edgenuity. So there's also a way to message in Canvas. But I just want to reiterate, email and Parent Square for me, and I think most of the teachers are the best, quickest. That's where I check, probably too many times a day. That's where I'm checking, once an hour or more during the school day. So, so definitely just know that, because this poor girl, she thought she emailed me, but she had actually messaged me in Edgenuity, and so I hadn't gotten back to her because I didn't even see the messages. So yeah, that's just something to know. With all the different ways to do things, it can be a little overwhelming, but that's the best way to communicate with me, probably these guys, but just wanted to do a point of clarification there.
Thanks. Elijah's the man. He's doing a great job keeping up. Brings some good energy to our AG meetings.
One last thought I also just thought of, to really make sure we reiterate, because we had some issues, especially the first week, and we've had a couple students join the online team since the first week, is that our schedule is not the same schedule as the students doing the hybrid. Like, so I've had some kids kind of panic, like, aren't we supposed to be meeting for first period right now? And I'm like, no, what are you talking about? For anything that if like your teacher wants to do an optional meet, and for the most part, since it is all online, they are all optional, and we usually record them and we'll put them on our pages too, if you can't make it, or you can just talk to us. For anything as far as the all online schedule, you're going to want to look for something on either an email or Parent Square. Probably Parent Square is what we will send most of our information out from. Like, that's what I sent the link to this meeting from, is from Parent Square. I would mostly look for anything from one of the 4 of us online teachers as far as the schedule specifically for online. We didn't want to take you off the all, like even the hybrid schedule. So just so you can have an idea of what's going on within the rest of the students at the high school. But just know, if they say, if like a message comes, let's say from Mr. McElfresh or from Mr. John, the principal, like, hey, first period, remember you're meeting at this time, or AG, you're meeting at this time. Anything about a schedule from anybody but the 4 of us doesn't count. We will tell you guys when your online meetings are. They will be different for the online than the hybrid. And that's just something I really wanted to make sure to clarify, because that has been a really big source of confusion for a lot of our families. So or if your student has been telling you, I swear we don't have to meet, when it says there, they are correct. They meet later on here. They're not trying to lie. We have our own unique schedules. Which, again, to reiterate, which pretty much all of us have said at some point, the main part of our schedule is set to be open to one-on-one meet with students if they need help or solve problems that way. So like for me personally, I have it set up that pretty much all day Wednesday and Friday, I'm just kind of sitting around waiting for people to say, hey, can we meet? And I say, yes, please. I built that into my schedule. So so I guess to sum it all up here, I'm getting a little long-winded. The Fox Hybrid, whatever they say on the Fox Hybrid kids, their schedule does not apply to your kids. Look for messages from the 4 of us online teachers, and please, please, please email us, and we can get back to you pretty quick, probably.
All right, well, I guess I'll do the official wrap up if there's no other questions. If you did have any question you wanted to ask individually, feel free to stay on for the 4 of us, but you are free to go. Thank you for showing up. Really appreciate it. And yeah, reach out if you need anything.
Oh, and real quick before you leave, I'm seeing here from tech support, like one issue that has been popping up a lot for kids is trying to download things from their documents onto their Canvas page. Like you've had to do that for your AG pages. It seems like that has been fixed. So that is one last problem there, right? Our tech team is pretty awesome at fixing problems pretty quick. So shout out to them. So usually when you guys ask us for help, that really means we're just going to go ask them for help. So they're pretty good at that.
I had a question. Do the kids directly go to tech support, or is it easier for them to email you guys regarding the questions that they got inside the software?
That's a good question. I can take that one. So if they're running into a technical or software issue, they should reach out to us. And what we'll do if it's something we don't have the answer to is we have a way to fill out a tech ticket, and the tech department will follow up with us and the student in that way.
So my daughter's been having a few issues downloading some of the things onto I believe it's Canvas. Like the computer blocks it, doesn't allow them to download some of the programs or the assignments, or upload them into, is it Canvas, I believe, or Ingenuity? Yeah, she's just been having problems getting the assignments on and off the.
I can help a little bit here, guys. Yeah, that's a known issue, and that was the issue that actually Mr. Anderson just mentioned. If a student logs onto the course and tries to download a document, like just a Word document, it was showing an error and getting to a white page, and that's fixed now. So essentially, on a Chromebook, they would click to download, and then save it to their Google Drive, and then they would be able to open it from there. So
yeah, that's what she was referring to. Okay,
yep,
thank you.
And that just got fixed tonight, so we've been working on it for a couple hours today.
Drew, question about that, just to make sure we're really clear. Would the student follow the video you guys had made earlier today, and that'll work?
That's
okay.
Correct. Yeah, it's just going to go back to the way the videos was recorded as. So.
Okay.
Yeah. The parent, it's a good time for. There's just a couple of people left, but the parent portal. Have you guys been? I can demonstrate real quickly a parent portal setup if you guys. Yeah. Okay. Let me keep bringing up my screen here. There we go. And can you see that okay? Is that showing okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So the parent portal setup on the parent side, it needs to be a cooperation between the teacher and the parent for 6th grade through 12th grade to get the parents getting updates daily or weekly on their progress. You know, as Josh mentioned, it's super progress based. So student logs on to ClassLink, they get into Canvas, Google Meet sessions synchronously, and then this is really where we're going to focus on courseware because parents want to know how they're doing there. So this is where the teacher goes in, manages student, and you got to add the parent's name here and then say enable family portal. Then once the teacher does that, family gets an email that looks like this, and they can click here to go in and reset their password and follow the steps. Those steps involve them email, putting their email and password here and saying forgot password to reset their password. And then this little button down here, activate account, they need a 4-digit code to activate the account for every kid. So if they have 4 kids, they got to do it 4 different times. And you have to provide the information to them to get that set up. So teacher resets password. They activate the account, they put in a security question, and then they have to put that 4-digit code right here. And then magic happens. And then they're able to see this snapshot. When they log in, they see attendance and progress. Those are the only 2 reports they get to see. And so they get to see that this kid has spent 1 minute and 5 seconds in the class today. You said you spent an hour, Johnny. No, you spent 1 minute. And then this is the progress report where you see this kind of light up like a Christmas tree as the kid moves across. Resources. We're doing a Tuesday noon session with tech support, and anybody's welcome from parents' perspective. It's just me and them from noon to 1. And I'll bring in people as needed. If it's iPad issues or Chromebook issues or Chrome Canvas issues, I'll bring in people respectively. So that is Parent Portal in a nutshell. Thanks for letting me join in.
Thanks for that. Yeah, so I think that's about it. If nobody has any further questions, I think we'll just close this meet. Appreciate everybody stopping in and listening to all the information that was provided. And if you want the parent portal set up, just email us, and I think we could probably figure out how to set that up for you. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Night, everyone.